Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk about the best $15 that I've spent for my online RPG gaming. So, if you follow my Twitter, you know that I've moved over like my Sunday game to Fantasy Grounds. I'm thinking about my Wednesday group that, and technically it's Adventures League, but I don't play Adventures League for Season 8. But because, I've got 3 players that can't make it so often because of work and family schedule on Wednesdays, that I'm thinking about moving that group to online so that we can all get together on the various days that they're available. It'll be more convenient because one person every other Wednesday they've got meetings that they have to do for work, and I'm not going to say kick them from the group. And I want to make it so that they can play in advance with the party. So I'm thinking about going online with them. Um, but like our Sunday campaign, we play Dungeon Crawl Classics. Part of the appeal of DCC is its old school feel. And to go along with that, the maps and the artwork in there are very old school looking. And part of the problem is it doesn't translate well the way the maps are made to running online unless you do a lot of work in Photoshop or some other manipulation program to make it so it's usable for the players to see without knowing what's in every room. So let's take a look at Fantasy Grounds and the 2 types of maps. All right, so this is the Emerald Sorcerer is the one we're running, not the Emerald Sorcerer, as the map says up there, but that's what we're running. And if you look, you should be able to see real quick some of the problems. Let's go ahead and throw Fog of War on here, which in this case is the mask. And let's show, it became evident pretty early on in this that this was going to be a problem. And when I first started running it, I used the maps and I had to go in, and some of the things I would go ahead and edit, others I just left. But like here, you open up, you go into the first room. You go from 1-1 to 1-2. Let's rematch this because I wouldn't do it that way. Do it the quick way. So we open up this. If you're familiar with online gaming, you've got the Fog of War stuff. I would always outline the doors so they're not like, wait, what's that thing? But here's where it becomes a problem. Up here, there's a secret door going into area 1-3. So you have 2 options. One, to go ahead and draw your Fog of War out like that so it doesn't show the wall. Or go into an editing program, get rid of the S, draw the line in, do all that stuff so that no one knows that there's a secret door there. So that's a lot of work that you're going to be doing in Photoshop or some similar editing program, maybe GIMP. So here's the other issue. Let's say you do that, they don't find the secret door, which my group didn't. Again, you've got a room here where you have 2 normal doors and 2 secret doors. So, for your Fog of War, and it starts to become obvious. You go in there, you open up the walls, you carefully go around. Let's say you leave it like that. And if you see, there's another issue with like these maps. The squares aren't equal in size. The lines aren't equal in length. If you try to lay down a grid, which you can do on Fantasy Grounds, same thing with, and it's actually a lot easier on Fantasy Grounds than it is on Roll20. I'll probably do something on Fantasy Grounds because it's my preferred way to do it now. But as you see, it's going to start being obvious to the players because here's a black wall, here's a black wall. Oh, wait, why is it funky like that? Why is it cut off? And if they start finding these secret doors, they'll realize. Now, as you move on, here's another issue that you run into with like these maps. And we're just going to open it up and say they found those doors. Like here, this is more work. You've got to put your lines in. That's a pit trap. It's not just spikes sitting on the floor there. Now, at this point, they would notice they've gone 1 1, 1 2, 1 4, 5 6, 7 8. And they're like, wait, we must have skipped a room. So now they're going to go back and start searching. So this is more work you have to do. Get rid of the numbers, redraw the lines. Just a pain in the ass. So let's unmask this and zoom out. So that's the map that I had to work with. And I was like, you know what? There has to be something out there that would let me draw this map quickly and easily and make it usable for the players. And a quick search, well, relatively quick search, brought me to Dungeon Painter Studio. It's a program that you can find on Steam, $15, and in my opinion, it's well worth the $15. So let's go back to this, and let's show you the map that I came up with for that first level. So there's my map. And this was all done in Dungeon Painter Studio. Now I know you'll notice there are doors where there are S's. I did this map at about the point they had gotten up to 1-14. That's when I decided to find something to make my life easier. And if we take a look here, which we're going to, you know, these are the doors. I left them open. They know where the secret doors are. The areas up here, if you look on the old map, these are traps. What I did, and the players don't see these pins, is I created objects. Once I had the map done, and then I could just go, bam, tells me what the plates are, and fortunately they had a rogue in the group, and they were able to find the traps. And I quick, in Fantasy Grounds, drew down sloppy lines, which will be nicer now because I do have my Wacom tablet, or Wacom, whatever you want to call it, in here, which will make life more convenient even so. But like up here, that's a secret door. There's my secret door pin. And my object, secret door. I don't even need to know anything, just that's the secret door for the area. But this map took a little longer because of all the stepped areas and stuff like that. But as I figured the program out more, it would be even quicker. What I did is ended up drawing like individual rectangle areas to build it out. But I'll show you the program in a minute. Now let's take a look back on Fantasy Grounds, and let's look at some of the other maps that they gave me for this. Now this is the other one, which is actually for level 2 and 3. So, and like I said, this is part of the appeal, is the old school look of the artwork and the drawings and stuff. But, you know, all I really care about when it comes to this is that I have a solid map to run. Because, I mean, my group does... They like running the grid. They like seeing where they're going and everything. So this is level 2, and this is what I came up with. And it's relatively the same. I mean, there's some minor differences, but it's not anything the players know, and it gives them the exact same map to run with. Like this down here was a room where a demon was trapped, moon devil. You know, and you know, like here's the moon devil room. It gives the exact information they need. They did the right thing and released it, and half the party did. It was kind of funny because half are like, "Oh, I'm not going to help a devil." It's like, it's not that kind of devil. Didn't really say that, but once they were done, the people that helped him, they got a permanent bonus to luck in one other stat of their choice, which was awesome. And the other people were like, damn, I should have helped them. But, I mean, every room has the stuff up here. I put the descriptions down of the tunnels, and you're ready to rock and roll. It's all there. This map is a little more difficult to draw, but not that much. And I'll show you how that's done. And then, the third map, it's on the same page, and you have the same problem between room numbers and, fortunately, no traps, but the room numbers are there. And like I said, smart groups are going to realize if they missed stuff. But there's the map they have, and bam, identical map with the scenery and stuff put in. Nice square map is really easy to do it. So it's I mean, it looks nice. It was easy to do. This took me 10 minutes to put together, and most of that time was me being picky about stuff like these vats that the things will move to. Being picky about, oh, what am I going to put on the desk, or what carpet am I going to use? If you're just drawing the room and you don't care, you just find a carpet, you throw it down. This thing would be done so quick. But I get picky about my stuff, and I look at it and I'm like, I still could have made it even nicer, but it doesn't need to be. They're gonna run through this. I mean, they ran through this level in almost no time because there was one combat, and now they're just searching through finding stuff, and then there's the boss fight that's probably gonna wipe most of the party in this room right here. And if you spend a ton of time making the maps for where they're gonna run through an area, it's kind of silly, but up to you. I mean, I'm very happy with how the map turned out and what it looks like. So let's take a look at the mapping program. So this is Dungeon Painter Studio, and like I said, it's a $15 program. And let's start drawing just a basic map and looking at the options for doing that. So let's say you've got a 10 by 10 room. If you notice, it tells you where your pointer is, how large that room is. And so there's a 10 by 10. I'll usually allow half, and not because I want halves there, because of placement for different objects that you're going to put in the room, so they don't necessarily snap to grid but fit nicely in there. But let's say you just wanted to make a quick random map, right? So you're drawing some rooms. Let's create a little more room here. Let's say you want this room to have a rounded top. So you'll draw two spaces there, and there it's got a nice rounded end to it. And if you don't want to have to worry about that being two separate parts, you can merge them together. Now it's one room, it'll draw the walls around it nicely. Let's do another. Oh, hell, let's do polygon room. Hit enter. We'll add some other things to it in a moment. And what else do we want to draw there? We won't do the terrain. I'm going to show you why. Kind of creates a few issues. Now, with that one big room that I had there where it was a second level and it was all jagged, you would just click is jagged and then start drawing. I went through and counted my squares to try to get it as close as possible to what I had. That's going to be a little overlapped, but it's just a demo. I don't care. And then let's go ahead and we'll draw a jagged corridor from here to there. And I'm sure I'm sure you'll be able to come up with something that looks better than what I'm doing here. But let's go ahead and create our passageways. As you can see, it's super quick and easy. And let's see, do we want to get down here by stairs? Sure, why not? We'll search. Oh, we need objects. They select objects, search for stairs. Let's do that. We'll do 10 foot down. Rotate it 90. Or they can come in here. All right. So there they come down. Now you have your map. Now, let's assume you just want to have walls around all of this. Okay. So you'll select everything. You will merge or use the union. Now it's one object. Click on that. Add wall. Zoom in, and your entire dungeon now has walls. Now, let's say you want doors and stuff like that. And you see how quick that went? It was just, it's silly. So you want doors. Again, we need objects. I always forget to do that even when I'm making the maps. So, you know, it's one of those things you may not forget. Me, I've got old guy brain, so that's what happens. But let's say we want a door, and we're gonna have to scale that, it looks like. Close enough. We're gonna put that there. And it, I mean, the door doesn't really work well with those floors. Another door at the end of that hallway. Door there. What about some double doors? Or dumble doors, as some of my party likes to call them. Put a dumble door here. There's a double door. Double door. And we're pretty much set for doors. But again, it takes no time to do that. Now let's say, you know, we're not really happy with our floor. So we can hit edit. Then we can go in and let's look at floor. And what do we want to do with it? Let's pick a floor. How's that? Are we happy with that? Let's take a look. That looks nice. Fancy floor. Let's do fancy floor. Not beautiful. Well, it is kind of underground. We could do something like that. No. This guy cared about his floors. Ooh, look at that. Kind of weedy. Doesn't make sense underground. Let's just do fancy floor. It's all good. So now we've changed our floors. And if you're not, here's the thing. If you're not real happy with having the same floor in every room, before you merge everything together, you know, think about your floors and set those in. But, I mean, how long did it take us to do that? A couple of minutes? If you already have a dungeon that you're going to be copying, it's pretty simple because you look at each room, you'll look at the squares, be like, all right, this is an 8 by 10, this is this, and you'll build the room. Now, you could leave it like this, and you'd be fine. But you can also furnish your rooms. Let's say we're here to find some fountain in that messed up room over there. The fountain of horrible. That's what we're going to call it. So, or in fact, it's a well. Who cares? We'll put the well here. That's ready to rock and roll. See the overlap? Like I said, you want to be careful with what you do there, but it's all good. So there's your well. Do we have a kitchen down here? Maybe. Monsters got to eat, don't they? So let's say this room over here, that's our kitchen. Put a pantry in. Shelf with some pots. Is there a stove? Yep, there is. And we'll put that over on this wall. We're going to scale it up a little bit. There's our stove. And sure, let's throw some grain bags in the room. Anything else? Oh, we need a chopping board. Gotta have a chopping board. Back in that corner. And anything else we want? I don't think so. Looks good. So there's our kitchen. And let's say this is a bedroom over here. Makes no sense, but let's do it. So if we want some nice stuff in here, we'll throw a carpet down. Close enough. He's got a chest. There's some lighting we want to put in. Sure. Well, that should go on the table, but we'll put the bone candles there. What else? Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Prison and torture stuff. Let's say he likes keeping a pet in the back corner. So there's his cage for his pet. Now, let's see. Does the bed matter that much? Yeah, it does. Let's do that. Need to rotate that. All right, got our spider bed. And we'll call that room done. So it's real easy to furnish. It's real easy to draw the map. And you could go through and get as detailed as you want, make it look as cool as you want. It's, you know, I didn't really, one of those things where I'm just going in, drawing, and showing some things that you can do with the program. It's not difficult to use, and like I said, it's makes your life a lot easier. Now let's look at another thing that you can do. Let's say you don't want to draw a map. You don't want to mess with this. All right, so let's do a new map. We'll lose this, it doesn't matter. Pull the pointer, go to templates. This will take you to a site called Donjon. What Donjon will let you do is create a randomly generated map. And we don't want anything massive, so let's do a small one. We care about the motif. You know what? We might. And you know what? That's good enough. We'll construct a dungeon. There's our dungeon. Now, what you need to do, you go to TSV map. That's what you'll create. That'll go, we'll save that. That's the Shrine of Aligned Secrets. Then we import it. And there it is. Did you see how ridiculously fast that thing pops up? In fact, I think that was another map that I did. Let's pull the one up that we actually just made. Oh, it's the same one. Okay, so there's our map. And that quickly, you have a map that's ready to rock and roll. Now, let's say you don't really like the floors that you have here. Like, you know what? I hate this floor. or I don't want everything to be exactly like that. So let's go ahead and, so room 4, we want that room to have a different floor. You click edit. So let's say we care about room 4. We're not going to do all the rooms. You edit, you have your floors up, and let's go with our simple floors. And what we want is, I don't know, we want to make it look like tiles. So that room is now tiles. Let's say we want to change another room. All right, so room 5, we want to edit that. Sure, let's do granite slabs. And you see, we can really quickly and really easily change up these rooms so that the floors change anything. You can change the walls, you can do specific walls, but you just need to go into the individual rooms or whatever you want to do and go ahead and edit it. But that's just a quick overview of Dungeon Painter Studio. Like I said, it's a really easy program to use. You can quickly make maps with it. And let's say, like I said, a lot of people already own modules for like 5th edition or whatever game you're playing. You own the physical module. If you move to online play, you have very few choices. You either need to go in and buy the module for online use, which should include the maps, or you can play the module, reading it like you normally would with your players online, but you're still going to need a map. And your option would be to scan the map in, and that's going to have all the Dungeon Master notes and need you to probably make some edits to it. Or you can use a program like this and quickly make a map that'll be easily usable inside of any of your online options. Right, I did want to take a look at one other quick thing that is a really nice feature on this. When you have your map done, and let's quick throw some walls in. We're not going to do doors or anything, but so you've got your map, merged it, got your walls. Let's say you want to export this. It's really easy. So this is your export screen. You're able to go in. You want to pick the size of the map. Now, if you notice, it's like Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, Battlegrounds. They all have these different ones. Regardless of whether you're running on Roll20 or what, honestly, you want to take the size down so the map's smaller. Like with Fantasy Grounds, it's not like Roll20. It's not a web-based system. They're actually logging into my computer acting as a server. So what I'll always do is set it up to preload the maps when they log in. And I do my best to make sure that the maps are a decent size. So by lowering the pixel per square inch, that makes their load time much quicker. So with this, you can create maps for any of those. You can do maximum, which let's say you wanted to print your map and have detail when you blow it up for on the table for your 1-inch grids. You can do that as well. Just remember, it's going to take more memory, take more time to load and print. So, take into account where you're using it, and that'll determine what you're going to actually need. But for all of these online programs, whether it's Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, you really only need honestly, 50 pixels will work fine for all of those programs. And let's be honest, most of these maps, it's not like it's going to be a piece of artwork that's up forever. Um, they may only be in the room or on sections of the map for a few minutes at a time. And as they're going through, if you spend hours and hours and hours on a map that they may spend 10 minutes in because they decide to skip over everything, um, it's kind of crazy. So, make your maps nice, don't overdo it, and make sure they're the right size so it loads quickly and you're not wasting any time that could be playtime. But yeah, that's one thing I really like about this is you can output what you need and make what you need. Pretty much anything. Like I said, the only limitations are when it comes to things like walls. Um, like if you do the puddle, let's do a quick puddle. You can't add a wall to that. Now you can, but you would have to get creative here with the arc and maybe make it work. I haven't really gotten it to work well with the puddles. Honestly, the puddle things, I would use that if I wanted to place like a pool or a body of water inside of a map or dungeon area that I've already drawn. But I don't think I would, unless they finally make the functionality where it will put a wall around it. But your puddles, um, your this, I'm pretty sure that you can't in the terrain. If I do that, I lay down terrain, and really the terrain is for an overlay. Like if you wanted to put moss down, stuff like that, that is what that's for. That's why you can't add a wall. These are like this, the puddle. Um, that should really be used for water sitting inside your map that you're not going to put a wall around. Um, but that's pretty much it. There's a lot in here that I still need to learn, um, but this does make your life a lot easier. Like I said, with the templates, you can burn a quick map off if you just wanted to create a really quick map for your group and then write a dungeon around it. That's awesome. Or just create a dungeon and randomly do stuff as you go through it. That makes it really quick, really awesome. But the tools here work well for copying maps from modules that you have and being able to use them online so that honestly so you don't have to pay twice for the same documentation. um, Now I wouldn't pirate the material. If you're going to run a module online, don't pirate it and pirate the maps and stuff. I mean, the thing is, like with Fantasy Grounds, the guys there, they actually go in and code all that stuff in and create the modules so they work well. Um, People's time is worth money. I mean, nobody should come to you and say your time's not worth money. Their time's worth money as well. Um, so it comes down to, are you willing to put the time in to write the modules? Which, like with DCC, there's no licensed content for that because Goodman Games won't license it. Um, Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, Pathfinder, they've licensed their material. And honestly, Fantasy Grounds is the cheapest option for that licensed material because they've made a better deal with the with Wizards of the Coast. So if I were to buy all my books for 5th edition, I would do it on Fantasy Grounds, and that's where I would run it. Um, but yeah, don't pirate the stuff. Take the if you're gonna run that stuff, make your own maps. $15 is nothing compared to what you would spend for the maps inside of modules anyway. And if you're just one of those player or DMs that you just want to sit down, run a game, like you normally would with a book in front of you, and just have this as your platform instead of a table to let the players interact with, this is a perfect tool to make your maps so that they have something to visualize their gameplay on. But that's it for today. Let me know what you think of the program. Like I said, there's some issues with it. If I do stuff that's way too big, sometimes it'll decide it wants to die. Maybe I need to do another update on it. But let me know your experience with it if you've used it and what you think of the program itself, or if there's another map program out there that you like better. I know I've seen some free options, but this works well for me, and I don't have to be online to use it. I can just be on my computer and use it. That's another thing I like about Fantasy Grounds. I can just be on my computer because it's an executable file. I can build my modules out. I don't have to be online. I don't have to worry about losing a connection. So I really do like offline executables that allow me to work on my campaign without being online to use them. But anyway, that's it. Rate, like, subscribe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think about the program or if there's something else that you like. And we will see you next time. Thanks again. Bye.